So we're on the final profession preview for the War Within. We're looking at engineering today. It's looking juicy. There are some very interesting parts here. So we'll just dive right in. First off, Tinker's Essentials. There's a new recipe unlock system for engineering, very similar to experimentation from alchemy. So the idea is you get these piles of rusted scrap. You can get them as drops. You can also create them by pilfering other engineering parts. If I pilfer some entropy enhancers, I'll get 7 piles of rusted scrap. Yeah, it's not 7 every time, but that's how you can get them. And then when you scour them, you get some materials or some vendor trash, and you have a small chance of getting a prototype, which can either be, if it's the first one, it'll be a named one. If you already have one, then it'll just be more unrecognizable ones, and then you can disassemble those. When you disassemble them, you get some piles of rusted scraps and some hastily scrawled notes. And you can turn 15 of these notes into a what's it called? A comprehensively organized notes, which can be turned into recipes. Well, my talent tabs is in the way because they are down here. And once I study these, then I can learn a schematic. So now I get to pick one out of 3. And that's how you learn a lot of the recipes. Now, some recipes are only available if you have put points into a specific node. It's like right now I can't learn everything. I can learn this one. But then if you go down to the profession equipment, then a lot of that is from the comprehensively organized ideas, but you need to have the specialization profession gear to be able to learn them. And that's the case for a decent number of recipes. So that's how unlocking works. Essentially, you're going to need to just craft a lot of parts, turn them into scrap, and then turn that scrap into prototypes, and you turn the prototypes into recipe pieces. You also have the invention, which you can do on a daily cooldown, which gives you a guaranteed prototype, and may have some other effects. I've only done it the one time. Now, if we're looking at what you can actually craft, though, one of the big ones is gear in the War Within, I expect. And this time around, we can do bracers that do not require engineering. And since they only have a single secondary stat, these are pretty good bracers. You only get to stack the ones that you want the most of. That can be pretty powerful. Now, as far as I can tell, there's only 2 tinkers to put in the tinker socket, either a healing cooldown or a healing potion, or you have the earthen delivery drill. There might be some others that I've missed, but as far as I can tell, those are the ones you can put in it. The earthen delivery drill does seem to be a secondary stat boost, but it says it's only affected in PvP zones, so I guess that's going to be a no-go for actual play. We won't be utilizing that. Now, another big one through the work order systems is all of the profession tools, and engineers have a lot of them. 7 total you have for engineering, fishing, 2 engineering pieces, mining, tool crafting, mining, and tailoring. Obviously, these are very popular, and you need to be able to do these with optional, with customizing the crafting stat, which means you need to put at least 10 points into the profession gear node, which you'll find here. So that's going to be 10 points here, 5 points into necessities, and then 10 points into profession equipment, which you want to do at least. And you may want to do it faster, higher, to get this node, which allows you to use less scrap and obviously to get a higher quality. I think this is one of the main ways to make gold with crafting orders very early on. Everyone's going to want this. Bracers are maybe a little bit down the line. It depends on the embellishment balance, which I don't know if there's a consensus yet on what embellishment is the best one for season 1. So if it's something you can put on bracers, then probably bracers are going to be popular as well. Although otherwise, I think the profession equipment, which a lot of people are going to want and may be willing to pay good money for maximum with the right missive on. As usual, we also have a ton of utility items, toys, bombs, stuff like that. Generally speaking, not great sellers. Only other engineers can use them. They're mostly for fun items, and so they sell, but not like super quickly. Generally not super relevant economically in my experience. You also have PvP gear. Obviously, full versatility bracers might be really good, or might be sought after, but it's PvP gear. This isn't going to be massive, and you also need the combatant heraldry to craft them. As far as I know, the level 1s can be traded, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I don't see the entry level PvP gear being a huge moneymaker, but it is always something that is useful. So we'll just have to see, essentially. Now, the last thing I wanted to cover here today is actually really big in my opinion and has the potential. There's a new vanity mount. Engineering has crafted vanity mounts in the past. The Crowd Pummeler 230. I haven't visited the vendor, but as far as I can tell, all of these recipes are bought from the vendor, and they total out to 3.1 million. I'm assuming that a large portion of it is in the epic one. But if you have the right specialization, then you can get these parts by pilfering through parts. So you need to go into the inventing tree, and once you put points into parts, once you can unlock this, then you have a chance to get components used to craft the Crowd Pummeler. So this is really interesting to me. This is just really has the potential to be some kind of shuffle with specializing in crafting parts, getting all of the bonuses. Like, you can have this. Now you have a chance to get extra scrap. So you pilfer through parts, then you get extra scrap that you can turn into more profession recipes, or just profession gear potentially eventually, once you have specialized in pilfering. So this is quite interesting. You can also get more scrap from this, which is just gonna be helpful. You can get refurbished tinkers. Like, there's a lot of potential for some circular stuff here that isn't super obvious and won't be known until we see how prices shake out on the various materials. But this is sort of like a big wild card for me, and something that can turn out to be really good, or can turn out to be completely economically irrelevant. So one thing I've seen from testing on Wowhead is that when you do pilfer, if you do the pilfering for Crowd Pummeler parts, the more expensive parts do give more materials, essentially. So you're not just going to do the cheapest one possible. You're not going to do whimsical wiring. You get a lot less per pilfer. You want to do some of the more expensive ones. Obviously, crafting them cheaply with maximized multi-craft resourcefulness is going to be really big. You don't need quality. I don't think you need quality. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone has tested, because you can't really get like mass quantities of quality 1 materials on beta super easily. But assuming you don't need quality, then there's also some potential there to grab cheap quality 1, quality 2 materials, and craft, or maybe even pick up cheap quality 1 materials and pilfer them on your own. And then you can scour them again, or do something else with the piles of rusted scrap. So yeah, I think this is a really interesting and intriguing possibility to do. Outside of that, you're either doing profession equipment or equipment with crafting orders as the main ways to make gold with engineering. And I honestly think all three are pretty good. I think the Crowd Pummeler is just the most intriguing one, because it's something new. Like, we know how crafting orders work from Dragonfight, and there's no massive change from that. You're going to want to maximize your skill. So you're going to want to max out engineered equipment, focus on this side first. If you're doing the gear, you want bracers and guns. and focus on this side to unlock the professional equipment. But probably you'd want to put 20 points here and 10 points here. That way you can learn the professional equipment recipes, and then maybe you want to go deeper into the gear portion after that. And then obviously you get inventing for the generic bonuses to concentration and resourcefulness. So yeah, that's it for engineering. See you in the World Within.